Hello, win column. The Seahawks start the Mike Macdonald era off with a bang as they defeat the Denver Broncos 26-21 to 20 to advance to 1-0 on the season. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on this post-game reaction edition of Seahawks Today. The Seahawks got off to a slow start to this game as they gave up not one, but two safeties in the first half. The very first pass attempt from Geno Smith was an interception there in the first drive. The Seahawks took a minute to get going, but credit where credit's due. Mike Macdonald and company made adjustments in the second half and really just delivered a strong performance in that second half. Night and day difference from what they did in the first half. You look at the numbers. Let's go to the tail of the tape. Geno Smith, 18 of 25, 171 passing yards, one passing touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown, ended up with 4 carries for 30 yards on the ground today. Kenneth Walker was fantastic. 20 carries, 103 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. The Seahawks, one of the things they did to adjust in the second half was they zeroed in on the run game. Even with not having George Fant out there. He left the game with a knee injury. They ran the football. It still ran to the right side with Stone Forsythe there and had a lot of success. He was good. Zach Charbonnet got in on the action. He had a receiving touchdown today as well. The run game, very solid for Seattle. Kenneth Walker did leave the game with an abdominal injury, and his status TBD. We'll let you know when we get more updates on that. Tyler Lockett led the Seahawks in receiving. He had some big catches, 6 catches for 77 yards on the day. Charbonnet with 2 catches for 29 yards. DK Metcalf with 3 catches for 29 yards. JSN with 2 catches for 19 yards in the Seahawks win. The defense, that's one of the biggest stories of this game. They really just look fantastic. Shutting down Bo Nix, 26 of 42 through the air, 138 yards. And they picked him off twice. There was a pick from Julian Love, who was fantastic today, 12 tackles, 1 TFL, and a pass breakup. Also, Rick Woolen with a late interception as well. He had a really solid day, Rick Woolen did. His total numbers for the day included 3 tackles with 2 pass breakups in the Seahawks win. The best way to celebrate a Seahawks victory is by subbing for dubs, folks. Look. We had an incredible time on our watch party, and we're not done, folks. Far from it. We're bringing you our daily news and rumors. We're live for every single game this season. We have our live shows during the week, in addition to breaking news, Q&A mailbag. Sometimes we're bringing you 2 and 3 videos a day on the channel. If you haven't subscribed to Seahawks Today already, you're missing out. You got to join the family and lock us in. For daily Seahawks coverage you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Let's talk about Geno now. Geno took a minute to get going, and the offensive line didn't really do him any favors. But then Geno started to find himself as the game went along. We mentioned going 18 of 25, 171 yards, a touchdown, and an interception on the day for him. And I got to say, when it comes to what Geno did, credit to him for not letting the slow start get to his head. He played like a veteran today of getting past that and putting his best foot forward in the second half, limiting those mistakes, being able to shake things off. I liked what I saw from Geno Smith because let's be honest here. Let's be realistic. Nobody can play their best every single time they take the football field. It's not humanly possible. But what separates the good players from the bad players is who can shake off those mistakes, who can get past those struggles that they've had. And that's what Geno did today, credit where credit's due. Kenneth Walker, the star of the game for the Seahawks offense. Man, this running game looked a lot different than what we've seen the Seahawks do in the past with really mixing things up with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet both effectively. And if Kyle Brandt's watching, he's going to like this. Kenneth Walker, he had some angry runs today. Ended up with 20 carries for 103 yards, a long of 23. averaged 5.2 yards per carry. We did mention he left that game with an injury. We'll see what his status is, but this was one of the best games we've ever seen from Kenneth Walker as far as I'm concerned. And you also had the run from Geno Smith. We mentioned 4 carries, 30 yards, and a touchdown score. Geno doesn't run a lot, but for him to show off the wheels and show that capability to get that rushing touchdown, you'll take that every time. Let's talk Charbonnet now. Charbonnet, 8 carries, 12 yards, but it was the receiving game that he was a difference maker. And one of the things we've talked about with Zach Charbonnet and this Ryan Grubb offense, Ryan Grubb has made it known that he wants to be able to use these running backs in the backfield as receivers. Emphasis on the short passing game, the screen passing game. And if you're Zach Charbonnet, we heard Ryan Grubb say throughout this offseason, if you want more playing time, want to get in that rotation, got to be able to catch the football. Charbonnet showed that ability with what he was able to do there with the 2 catches and 29 yards. Tyler Lockett, man, people are quick to write off Tyler Lockett, right? Likely, just based on the way the salary cap is and his contract, likely his last year with the Seahawks, if we're going to be honest, right? I mean, there's no way the Seahawks want to take a $32 million cap hit on him next year. Maybe they change things, but at least for now, it looks unlikely. And with all the talk about DK and JSN, all reliable, Tyler Lockett comes through once again. 6 catches, 71 yards, a very good day, and made some timely catches when this team needed. What is your one-word reaction to the Seahawks' performance against the Denver Broncos today? My one word is satisfied. Was it perfect? Far from it. But you made the adjustments at halftime. The defense looked the best it's looked in a long time. And the offense, although it started slow, they started to figure things out. I'm satisfied. I'm optimistic about this team going forward from here. Give me your one-word reaction in the comments section. Let's start DK now. 3 catches, 29 yards. Had a costly holding penalty that took a touchdown off the board and forced the Seahawks to settle for 3 points on one possession. But DK, was it his best day? No, but we know that there are better days ahead. So I'm not worried about it. I'll say this. When it comes to DK, we don't want him to be too chippy, right? It's with DK, it's not about what he can do in the receiving game. It's about all the extra stuff, not getting the personal fouls and all that. We didn't see that today, so keeping the emotions in check, big deal for DK. He did that today. JSN, I would have liked to see more of, but I think his lack thereof statistics kind of go back to just the slow start that we saw. If the offense would have gotten going more in the first half, then JSN would have had a bigger day today. But I'm curious how they're going to use JSN going forward. We've heard from Mike Macdonald and Ryan Grubb and others that they plan to use JSN more on the outside and less in the slot. Let's see how that continues to develop from here. Who was the Seahawks MVP today against the Broncos? I could go with Kenneth Walker. I could go with Julian Love. I could go with Rick Woolen. There's not any wrong answers here, but if you had to pick one, who would it be and why? Weigh in the comments section. Let us know. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go. For the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. They also have their seat views so you can see what the seat is like, see if you like it or not. You choose the event you want to go to. You pick your seat. Then from there, you're checking out Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Bo Nix, if you recall, folks, in the draft process, the rumblings were that John Schneider was a big fan of Bo Nix, and that if Bo Nix fell to 16, they were open to the idea of drafting Bo Nix. I am so glad that he was not available when the Seahawks picked and that they did not end up bringing him in. 2 interceptions, 26 of 42 through the air, 138 yards. The Seahawks defense did a really good job of getting pressure on him, keeping him under duress, and the secondary did its part with those 2 interceptions we mentioned, with Julian Love with 1, with Rick Woolen with 1. Those guys came through, and they reminded Bo Nix that he's a rookie quarterback. He may be, 35 years old at this point, but he played like a rookie today, and the Seahawks defense was a big part of that reason why Bo Nix struggled on that front there. The Seahawks now, you shift your attention. You get this win today. Now you take on the New England Patriots, and now it's just about fixing the little stuff, right? Broncos, that number is a bit deceiving when it comes to their run game. The Seahawks' run defense did a really good job for the most part. 99 total yards on the ground, but the Seahawks' run defense was much better in the second half. To me, I'm looking at, when I look at these numbers, of, all right, can't get off to the slow start. Get things going right away, and you'll be in much better shape going next week to New England, playing, the Miami Dolphins, the Detroit Lions. Once you get past New England, you're about to face some high-powered offenses over the next few weeks. And so I'm looking at this Seahawks team after today. The number one message that I'm saying to this team, if I am Mike Macdonald, is let's start fast. Let's get this thing cranking right from the jump, because you're not going to play bad teams like Denver every week. And we saw what the Patriots did today against the Bengals. So with that said, you can't be caught lollygagging, if you will. And if the Seahawks show up and are ready for the jump, if they play like they did in the second half, the next few games against these opponents like New England, Miami, and Detroit, then they'll be in much better shape. That's the number one takeaway I would say from here going forward, is really focus, hone in on trying to get off to a fast start and go from there. How would you grade the Seahawks' performance against the Broncos? They won, but they didn't cover. The line closed at 6.5. They won by 6. I think it's a good day, but not a great day. And you have stuff to build upon, which is fine. I would go with a solid B+. Give me your grade in the comments section. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today for continuing Seahawks coverage. We'll have a fun week ahead here on the channel as we get you ready for the matchup with the New England Patriots next Sunday. We'll be live for it all right here on Seahawks Today. We'll see you then. I'm Tyler Jones. Go Hawks. Spam W. We'll see you next time.